Traitors, curs, filthy, pointy-eared cowards. Long have we tolerated their transgressions against us, the way they look down on us. Naugrim they've always called us, the stunted folk, but no longer. Despite surface-level tension, we dwarves understood that the deeds of the past were forgotten. Elves and dwarves stood united against our common enemy. How wrong we were. May my ancestors now rest in peace, their deeds appraised as worthy. First Menegroth, soon Karas-Galadon. Not long after our mighty reclamation of Khazad-dûm, our noble Lord Balin personally led a small group to Lothlorien. He told their border guards of our victory over the goblins, our utter cleansing of the mountains, our repairs to the Dwarf-Elf Road, and our strengthening of the mansion of Khazad-dûm. He swore by dwarven honor that the elves' western border would hereafter be protected, and that was no small promise. In return, we asked only that the elves provide some much-needed food and grains. A caravan had been dispatched from Erebor, but Balin feared it would come too late, or maybe not come at all with the fall of Bjorn's Hall. He pleaded with the elves to aid us so that we may better defend them. Their guards looked upon us with scorn and disgust. We were bid to wait like common peasants for their king to meet ours on the outskirts of the forest. A hero's welcome should have been afforded our lord, but they had him stay like a dog. When Celeborn eventually greeted Balin, his tone and manner were worse than that of the guards. He seemed afeard to even speak with us. He denied us aid. He spoke of our expedition as if it were to bring the end of the world. He could not see our triumph for what it was, and he was scared. Balin assured him that the demons of the past lay in slumber, and Lorien would be protected by dwarven arms and dwarven warriors. And to that Celeborn sneered. I have seen dwarven warriors fighting first-hand, he said. I have seen the savagery with which they slay innocents, and I have seen how they favour the safety of gold over their kin. The events at Sarn Athrad still burn brightly in my mind, Naug, and I have not forgotten the foolishness of your people to put us in this situation all those thousands of years ago. You are lucky to have had this audience, he said. You will not be permitted access to this place again. We left that day, but a fire kindled within each of us. We would not be so openly mocked, nor shall our forefathers' memories be dragged through the mud by the elves of all people. Then, as now, the elves cannot see their own failings in anything they do. Chosen of the One, they call themselves. Well, we were chosen as well. Mahal gave us life, he gave us fire, he gave us passion, and he still watches over us now. Eru abandoned those fools millennia ago. We will stand alone then. No doubt the Noldor of the failing ruin of Imladris will stand with their lesser kin, leaving us further alone. Messengers have been sent far and wide, telling the people of our glory, our success, and our great prosperity, and letting them know that the dwarves achieved this alone. We will stand alone, and should the lesser races call for our aid, we will not answer. Gabil Khazad. My Gavan and Melanine, and well met indeed. I am Arakir Galadirthan, and I am no longer the head of the mod of Divide and Conquer, but I was almost about to say it then. Welcome back to Middle-earth as we continue on as Khazad-dûm. The dwarves off. We're starting off rather well, but as I understand it, we're closing in either 10 or possibly 15 turns now away from the Balrog joining us. So we are going to try and fight the Balrog rather than get Gandalf to kill it off screen. So I was sending a diplomat up that way, but I don't know what I've done with him, and I don't know where he is. Oh, there he is. No, he's still heading off that way. No longer Ori the Gossip. Go and spy on Dogaldor or something, I don't know. Last time, of course, was episode whatever, and we did some stuff, and we've taken Khazad-dûm. We renamed this one to Silvertine because of the name of the walls of Moria, are the Silvertine walls, and it being called Khazad-dûm West, the names always clip, and it always used to bother me, and then they still clip, but it at least looks a little bit better. I must also just go on a little tangent and say that the decision that we made, which is years ago now, I think 3 or 4 years ago, maybe even 5 years ago, I can't remember when, but splitting Khazad-dûm into 2 settlements was an absolutely smashing idea, and I think it has paid dividends throughout the time of the mod. And I am, to this day, still so chuffed with the Elite Dwarfs strategy model for Khazad-dûm. It is fantastic. And it does blend ridiculously well into those mountains. You cannot tell me it doesn't. Let's just turn everything off. Look how well it blends in. Obviously, there are some annoying little bugs and glitches, or not bugs and glitches, but the way that Medieval 2 generates the map can create some issues. And so all of you can probably see that sheer cliff face that you have to have, because cities need to be at a reasonable height. And if they're not, it causes all kinds of problems with the battle map. And it takes a great deal of almost... trial and error, really, but there's a lot that goes into making sure that the battle map works, so it forces you to have this horrible cliff design. But other than that, the colours, it just blends in so well, so well. But anyway, what are we up to? Well, our army just moved off to Bruenost, where we are currently being led by Lord Oin. That's done successfully in claiming that. And our faction leader, Balin, is knocking around somewhere, but I can't remember where he is. I sent him off somewhere, didn't I? Oh, there he is. Oh dear, coughing all over the place. Should have got a glass of water. Anyway, Balin is over there, western side of the Osnithil region. Eregion, it's called, and this one's Hollin, I think. Hollin and Eregion are actually the same place, interchangeable names. But we needed something. We needed 2 names, so we just chose that. You can see that Moria are coming back for Anon and Arod, and we've got to try and hold them off. And that is where we are. 2 minutes and 55 bloody seconds. Jesus, Callum. Speaking of Age of Empires, when did this video go live? On Monday. And tomorrow, Tuesday, is the Dawn of the Dukes. If you enjoy Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition, then you can buy the Dawn of the Dukes. Microsoft haven't paid me to tell you that, and that's just a factual statement. I don't think I'm being controversial. But if you pre-order Age of Empires 4, then you get Dawn of the Dukes for free, which is something that I believe I did, actually. I think I pre-ordered Age of Empires 4 ages ago, and you get Dawn of the Dukes included. So if you play Age of Empires 2, then look out for this coming Tuesday. Oh, the Northmen of the Anduin have long lived in the shadow of its neighbours. Oh, cross plurals there. However, in the face of strife, they do not cower in fear or submission, but stand tall. The men and women of the North take up arms in times of need to protect to protect what they hold dear and reclaim their long-held lands. Much like their forefathers, the Eotheod, the folk of the Anduin will fight and die before they see their lands lost. Eotheod. And for this cause, a final force is awoken from the remaining populace to beat back the forces that threaten their existence. Remember, you can always tell when it's a last stand army if you don't want to read this, because the crossed swords with a shield that UI icon is only used when a last stand army has kicked in, so that you can tell at a glance what is going on. Right, we got that army moving north. Balin's just apparently going back to Osnithil. Surely there's something better we can do with Balin. Bruenost just built a brewery, so they like us a little bit more. Send the beers around and everyone's happy. Radgaz, where are you going to go, though? Are you going to go to Bruenost or are you going to go to Anon and Arod? I suppose whichever one he goes to. Let's put troops in both, and then whichever one he goes to, the other garrison can move to support, and we should probably be able to get him then. But whilst you're over here... Oh, did I still never fix that? Oh, no. Oh, dear. I was sure I fixed that before I left. But no, not to be. Not to be. It's a good job I've not written the intro message to this episode, because I've just remembered that we are going to turn on Lothlorien once the time is right, for their pompous disregard of our people's needs. Oh, Dunland and Isengard have broken alliance, and then immediately allied again. And yeah, I think that might be a bug. Let's do a little test and see if that same issue crops up on this turn as well, and then it would suggest that something at the moment is forcing them to ally and break alliances every single turn. Alright, end the turn. In many ways, I think me pressing the mute button is probably... No, I mean, that's a minor little knock, isn't it? That's what a stupid thing to suggest. I was going to suggest that my pressing the mute button is probably more annoying than me just coughing, but no, that's silly. That's silly, that is. I'm pleased to let you all know that I've reached out to Izzy, or rather the other way around. Well, we've reached out to each other, and plans are in motion for something rather interesting, I think, and I hope. And hopefully I'll speak with Izzy further about that in the coming days. Something else that I haven't yet broached, and I don't know what I'm going to do, actually. I'm leaving it a bit late to be thinking about it, but next week there won't be a live stream because I'm going to Wales for a week. And I haven't decided yet, because I haven't given it any thought until literally this very second, which is leaving it a touch late. I don't know if I'm going to pre-record or if I'll just not have videos that week. But ideally, I think I might try and pre-record, because obviously I had 2 weeks off only 2 weeks ago, so I don't feel like I need a YouTube break at the moment. I take breaks from YouTube when either at key moments like that, when I've got time off or I'm doing something major in real life that helps, that then it's useful to have time off. Or when I feel like I really just fancy some time off of YouTube. But obviously, I just had 2 weeks off only 2 weeks ago, so it seemed a bit unnecessary to take another week off. Anyway, we need to deal with this fella then. So what we're going to do is gamble on the safety of these two towns, merge these armies and try and hit him. So I'm going to leave behind 2 merchant cavalry, Jesus. Can they be retrained? No. Where did we get the merchant cavalry from? I can't remember. Why is the catapult here not free upkeep? Oh, because we can't train catapults. So why did we get a catapult from them?
Aye, Lord. Move out. Aye.
Aye.
Aye, Lord.
Are they going for Austinethiel then?
Onward.
We're going to go down the road, I think.
March no further today.
We have so many ranged units. That is ridiculous.
Aye. Forward.
Oh, no, he's got all the melee units. There we are.
Aye. Aye.
I think I'm going to leave those 3. Something that many of you have pointed out, and I should clarify. Of course, if Khazad-dûm take the Grey Mountains, then yes, you can retrain Dragon Slayers in the Grey Mountains. But when I said we won't be able to retrain those Dragon Slayers, I meant it as in, without us having to send them miles away, we're never going to be able to retrain them. I should have clarified more, or I should have clarified further. But what I meant in essence was we cannot train Dragon Slayers from this area, specifically Moria itself. So they are now just a kind of drain on our upkeep and income, really. I wonder if they're chasing Balin or if they're moving to take Austinethiel. Time will tell on that. We'll have to just wait and see. Oh, we can get some mid-tiers. Yes, I will take those. And you're getting a minus quarters. Good. I want the western one to get up to military production as soon as possible. Oh, we're already making heaps of money. This is why we need to sweep Lothlorien away in sudden onset. They need to be dealt with. Well, they don't need to be dealt with, do they? They're not doing anything. But we need the narrative to weave a challenge. And the minute I think we've got good grounding for... hopefully the little message that I wrote at the start of this episode gives us a nice setting to attack Lothlorien. Because some people really don't like the sort of, they call it random attacking. I've seen a couple of comments, actually. Interestingly, when the channel takes a break, because obviously there are many of you that are so positive. You are so nice. And I read your comments each week, and I just think things like that remind me why I keep doing this. So many of you are so pleasant. You just have nothing but good things to say. You're so supportive in any decision I make. And I love it. But when I take a break, it always seems to come then. People who watch videos out of time, so those people that are watching them, say, 2, maybe even 3 years later, maybe even just a few months later, people like that don't ever say positive things. I rarely ever get comments on old videos that aren't just people moaning about something or saying this is wrong or that is wrong. Oh, here we go, Radgaz. Oh, what a trash army. What a garbage army. How many snagger can you carry in a single army? Oh, dear. Captain Nah, you just come in from the AI, that's right. Yeah, so when you get these 2 weeks breaks, all you get is all these sort of negative style comments, really. Negative, not always like outright negative, but they're never just like, oh, that was a really enjoyable video. They're always like, oh, you said this wrong, or you said that wrong, or you did this wrong, or you did that wrong. No, I've completely forgotten why I was talking about that. Oh dear, what a total waste of time. Anyway, let's just fight Moria then. I'm sure it will come back to me. I had a valid point. I wasn't just moaning about commenters. There was something that I meant to say. Oh, no, yeah, that was it. On one of my very old Let's Plays, someone commented about how I backstabbed one of my allied nations, and I did it essentially on a whim. And it then just that comment, it wasn't particularly mean or anything. They just said it felt a bit cringe that I backstabbed an enemy, which is an odd choice of words. Must have been a child, I expect. But And it just made me think, so there are actually some people that really don't like you backstabbing, even if narratively there's a purpose to it, there's a point behind it. Some people just really don't like it and are adverse to it no matter what. And that was the point I was trying to make. Right, we'll start with a mortar shot, I think. This is a Dwarven siege unit. I'm sure you've all seen them before. The model for this unit was added such a long time ago that I don't know who created it, I'm afraid. Yeah, I'm not sure which mod allowed us to use that. In fact, I think it was leo.civil.uefs. I believe he added those models to his mod, the unofficial patch. And then almost every mod since then has used the unofficial patch because he's kindly let us all use them. Come on, you can... Oh, idiot. I want you to hit the trolls. But the mortar shots are best used against the troops. Because as you can see, they do a load of damage. Dwarven battle line, sprint forward. Archers, let's get you in front of the siege. I don't know why I didn't include you in the battle line. Let's get going! Yes, a troll has fallen. Someone commented in, I think possibly on the live stream actually, about Dwarven ballistae, and they said, are they supposed to all fire at the same point? And I think the Dwarven ballistae is something I have seen before, where almost all 4 bolts will hit exactly the same point. And I think it may well be because the Dwarven ballista is the most accurate siege weapon in the game. And I think it's something to do with that, because I think the ballista crew, unlike archers where they target the whole battalion, ballista normally target a sort of a set point in the battalion. It's something you see quite often. If you tell them to target units, they hit the same line of units over and over and over, much like that there. And I think because the Dwarven ballista has the chance of being nearly 100% accurate, all 4 bolts hit the exact same point because that's what they're aiming at. I think it's something that you do see. Right, if you could target those Uruk Overseers rather than wasting yourself on the Snagger. And is there anything else that's actually any good in this army? We've got 2 Overseer units. Obviously, the Dwarven Catapult as well fires Grape Shot, and we have got that. But Grape Shot is a bit better when the enemy's much closer. But those Uruk Overseers are hopefully being targeted now. And that one on the... I want to try and maximise the mortar shot's destructive capacity. Oh, they have actually got a real bodyguard. They're grouping up on themselves over here. Why don't you just both target those Uruk Overseers? Give them another... Oh, that was woefully inaccurate. Come on, guys. I've just been singing your praises and you're missing. How many have we killed? Only 15%. And we're not even at 15%. That's only 30. Step up your game, chaps. Step up your game. Oh, kudung, 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 kudung. Something that the Amazon series awoke within me, I must confess, and I'm not making any promises at all, but something that, seeing that image of Tyrion or Valmar, or Valimar, depending on how you say it, apparently Valmar or Valimar both work, really made me want to do a lore video. And I'm particularly disappointed in myself that my lore videos were all done near the beginning of the channel's history, because I feel like the lore videos, the later lore videos, like if you watched a lore video on my channel now, the last sort of 5 or so that I did, I think the quality of those is so much better than the earlier ones. And so it's almost like what I should do really is just go back through my catalogue, but then that's silly because those of you that have seen the earlier ones, you're not going to re-watch them, are you? Alright, let's swap to Grape Shot and target these fellas here. You can now fire at whatever you like. Don't shoot the trolls. We need to shoot something that stands back. Snagger skirmishers, there you go. There's a risk that we're going to kill our own
men
here.
are winning the battle.
He's about to fire.
If we continue like this, we will smash the enemy.
Alright, what we got? Look at that. It's very difficult to follow the shots of the catapult when they do the grape shot. It's hard to see what they're hitting. But we've still got plenty of arrows left. The trolls have been reduced down to only 2. Trolls are nowhere near as bothersome as great beasts. They don't have that same painful skill level. Right, you guys charge in. You guys charge in. And up the hill you go with our general. Our reinforcements have arrived and hitting them in the back, actually. Oh, nice. Excellent timing, dwarves. Dwarven travellers. Carnies. No, that was silly, don't do that. 2 trolls still survive. Grape shot still firing away. There it goes, there it goes, there it goes. Basically missed everyone. Do it on the goblin archers then. Curly around. Oh, you're not even engaged. Dear, oh dear. Let's go.
Only half the enemy force remains.
The enemy has no candle to the dwarven horde of Khazad-dûm. But things will change when we go up against Lothlorien. If we go up against Lothlorien, I suppose. But if we don't take on Lorien, Dunland can't... I've said it before, but we'll say it again. Dunland can't beat us. Moria can't beat us. And those are our 2 enemies we actually have to defeat. Gundabad can do better against us, and they might do well, actually, because the Anduin has been weakened, because they've obviously already got their last stand army. They lost the capital in this rerun that I had to do because of not completing the script at the beginning. So, Gundabad might present a challenge, but we need more than one. Now, what would be great, narratively speaking, is if Lothlorien then attacked me. So at the moment, all we've done is inform them that we are very disappointed that they have not supported us. We have protected their western border against Moria. We've cleansed Moria. We claimed it for the dwarves. Forced out the goblins that dwelt within these halls. And they, for fear of something that hasn't been seen in Middle-earth since it evicted the dwarves thousands of years ago, or possibly at the Battle of Azanul-Bazar, depending on if you think Dane is crazy or not. The Balrog hasn't been seen for many years, and on the threat of that potential creature, they have denied us aid. Read into that what you will. You still have a lot of grape shot left. As soon as the enemy general dies, this is over. Moria do not have good morale. And they won't like that. Uruk Overseers. 22 of them, fighting on. Volunteers plunging deep into the Snagger lines. For all of my hatred of Snagger, I don't actually really hate Snagger. I consider Snagger... I pity Snagger, is what I do. But I do think that Snagger actually, and this is probably a controversial comment, I think they look really good. I think they have a really unique visual style, which isn't really seen anywhere else in the mod, and they stand out from the other grey and black tide of orcish nothingness really, really well, and I've always thought they had a good model. Oh, you are definitely shooting at our own troops, aren't you? Let's turn you into normal shot then. If you are going to hit things, those volunteers are definitely getting killed by our...
The enemy general lies dead. Let the crows have his miserable bones, and let our swords have his men.
Let's just stop firing, actually. Right, let's go to time 6, because this is over. 25% plays 76. You're not getting my siege equipment, Goblin Archers. Get out of it.
The enemy army being all of the victory we have won here today.
147. 147 dwarves just died and will be respected in memory. But 3,119 Snagger fell. Redonkulous. Oh, Dwarven Labourer's getting 215. That's most of my army. Catapult 365, Catapult 346. It's like playing Warhammer. Goodness gracious. Never seen anything like it. The Snagger do not hold a candle to the dwarves of Khazad-dûm. There's Boromir going over the falls of Rauros. I saw something the other day that made me feel like a bit of a Tolkien snob, in that on a Lord of the Rings, one of the many Lord of the Rings subreddits, someone pointed out that Aragorn in the movie, as soon as Boromir dies, Aragorn wears his braces, and someone pointed out in the movie that they wear the braces right until the end, and so even in the foresight scene that Elrond gives to Arwen, where she's weeping over the dead body of Aragorn, he's wearing the braces when he's lying on his plinth. And it was one of those where I looked at it and I was like, yeah, everyone knows that. That's not a unique fact. And then I had to check myself and think, oh no, again, actually, we're so far away from Lord of the Rings now that, again, I am sure the Lord of the Rings, the fan base that is the most vocal about Lord of the Rings are almost certainly the movie fan base. It was just a little sad moment, and not sad moment as in, oh, all these people don't understand the greatness of Lord of the Rings, we must do something about it, but more from a point of view like, oh, they're missing out on so much because they've only seen the films. That is what it is. Right, with that success under our belt, we're going to go and take Zagkala. Probably not in this episode, but in due course. I'm absolutely amazed at how much money we are making. I knew that we would make good money, but I never expected this. This is unreal. We're going to have 16,000. I've never been this wealthy at this start early in the game. It's a completely new feeling for me. And also, I've actually managed to build siege. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? Garladurathan building siege. I was using Sindarin again the other day, speaking of Sindarin, because in Guild Wars 2, whenever I play as the like elven race, who are actually a race of people made out of leaves and trees, and they're grown in pods connected to a mother tree rather than birthed. And anyway, they're called the Silvari, and I always name them Sindarin names, and I was quite pleased with my recent name, which was Adthul, which means breathe again, because I wanted him to be called Live Again, but Live Again didn't sound as good, so I went with Breathe Again. Mithril mines rebuilt, silvered steel. Mithril has long been the key to the halls of Khazad-dûm. This precious metal is rare and strong and is once more ours to mine. With the equipment and network in operation, we can now mine the ore throughout the depths. This news will likely attract dwarven miners from the three kingdoms of the dwarves to our reclaimed halls. Our Breeze leader is dead. Khazad-dûm Mithril Mines, well done Khazad-dûm. What's this over here? Oh, Durin's Garrison. Yeah, I think we should probably chuck that in just in case. Ah, no, balls. Why would we do that? Why would you do that? Who's going to attack us? Well, the elves might in time. You know what, sod it, I am going to put that in. And then we will go tune this to be military as well. We need the Union up first. Now we make even more money. It really has fallen to Lothlorien, would you believe? And we didn't get a message about diplomacy between Isengard Dunnan and Ennard White, so I don't think there is a repeating loop, which is always good.
Aye, sire. March! Aye, my liege.
Get out of it, Shagrath. Crawl back to the dim, dark, dank caves from whence you came, and prepare yourself there a tomb, for we shall shortly be placing you within it.
Aye, noble sire.
Barlin doing what he can to give us sight range. He should really be leading the charge, shouldn't he? But he's a bit too far away at the moment. Although I wouldn't be surprised if he could kill that army on his own. In fact, I thoroughly expect him to kill that army on his own, and we're going to do it just for that. Just to see. I also think we do want to now prepare as much as we can for the incoming army that's going to attack us. The theory, by the way, behind my Breathe Again character was that he's a revenant character, so they come from the mists, which is like a mystical, magical other world that's in the Guild Wars universe. And so I had this kind of theory that he essentially is revived from the mists each time he dies. So I wanted him to be called Live Again. But alas, Live Again didn't sound good. I can't remember what the word for live was, but it just didn't flow very nicely. And that's always the challenge with naming in Sindarin, is trying to make a nice compound word, something that flows well. Oh, mission failed. What were we supposed to do? The Eastlings have run. Oh, of course, because our fellow's all the way over here, isn't he? Removing... Oh, we're still allied to the Anduin Vale. Oh, dear. All right, then you there down in Aru. We know what your task is. Oh, and Dol Guldur have taken... I don't think we need to bother breaking an alliance with the Anduin Vale, because I think they're probably going to die before them. I will probably toggle Fog of War at the end of this episode, because we're getting to the stage where it will be useful. I really want to auto-resolve this, because it's just not worth our time to fight. I mean, it's what a pathetic army. 90! You lost 90 men! We lost 140 killing 3,000. That is atrocious. I mean, I'm not going to bother reloading that, though. At 90 doors doesn't make all that much difference, but that was terrible. That was awful. Expect more from you, auto-resolve. Do better. Do better. Oh, you can train as well. Nice. Welcome to the fray of your castle. Ah, yes, you are. 6,000 before you upgrade, though. That's a long way away. You can get a guard barracks before then, though, so we might as well. 2 places that can train good units is not a bad thing. Is no bad thing. You're going down the line, but you've got 8 turns before you build that. Your union's 2 turns away, which is nice. Balin, son of Hundin. Go to Bruinos and stop them hating us. Don't worry about Zogrum. Although having said that, there's not enough in Osnithiel at the moment. Let's try and replace that with an actual garrison. One of them and one of them should do. Get yourselves down to Osnithiel. Oh yeah, because they've got Koloniak. Ah, indeed. This is much the problem. Much the problem indeedy. Right, let's see if Moria wants to meet us on the field. If they meet us on the field, I will save it and sadly end the episode. You won't get a Toggle Fog of War. If they don't meet us on the field, then I'll Toggle Fog of War. We'll have a look around the world, and then that will be today's episode. So, actually, yeah, there won't be a live stream this week because it's this Saturday that I'm going. But I am back before the following Saturday, so there will be a live stream the next Saturday. So I'm not sure what I will do. I think then I probably will pre-record for the week after next, but it means that I won't do the Ardenaim, I don't think, because I like to cap off them with live streams. So there will probably be 4 videos of Khazad-dûm now over the coming 2 weeks with no live stream in the middle. So I apologise for that. Yeah, we'll take on a little person. We'll worry about that next time. Moria just tried to block me because they know they can't beat me. Oh, they're coming for us in Nithil, though. Jammy bastards. Off you go. How much money do you want? 5,000! Sod it, go on, I got the money. Oh, wow. How powerful are you? Holy Jeebus. Taking Bjorn's hordes really does set them off well, doesn't it? Anyway, let's have a look around the world then. Strap in, everyone. A tale may be told here. Oh dear, the Anduin really are out. Roskabel and Leothelt are all they have left. Oh no, they're about to get Dwimberg back. So they're fighting on. Gundabad doing really well. Framsburg, Rakiberg, Daneshal's Yulsenbergs are cool. They've got Anazanar and Witherboard. Erebor barely containing them. They're not containing them, they're just failing. They're losing. Disappointing. It's because they're busy over here. Tamruben. Rune are curling around the northern side of the Sea of Rune, but they have lost Lest to Dorwinion, which is interesting. Dorwinion doing rather well, bar Vilta. I wonder if Vilta rebelled or if no one's taken it yet. No, it rebelled. It definitely rebelled. It's rare. Doesn't often do that. Either that or someone sieged it and not succeeded. Probably that one, actually, far more likely. Dogaldor doing very well then. Isengard, though, not doing all that well. Eisenrun has fallen to Rohan, would you believe? Mordor and Gondor. Oh, look at this. They're going in a circle. Daewism on display. The Northern Dunedain, or the Dunedain of Arnor, sorry, haven't really done out. They've lost Tir Thuin to the Goblins, though. Oh, but they have somehow taken Fueros from Angmar. I've never seen that before. Barquette have fallen to Eddard Luin. No one's in Oscalon. Bree really not doing very well. What on earth is happening, Bree? What is happening with Bree? Breeland. Angmar and Moria. Why are you doing so poorly? You're not even bordering any of your enemies. How did your faction leader die as well then? It must have been against goblins, I suppose. Interesting. This area is still rebel because we're not enough turns in yet for the AI to have taken it. Oh, and Enedwyth taken Boulogne, but they've lost Londangeren. Isengard pushing west. As Isengard are being pushed west, they are breaking into Enedwyth territory. It's interesting to see. And down in the south, Dol Amroth hold Tirithorus. Ardenaim are about to take Barad hard, and the Ardenaim have done very well. I don't know why they go so hard on Ancaragmir, and I don't know why Harad basically ignores it. Probably because, now that I look at this world, Finabel, Harad's greatest capital, or greatest city, doesn't have a direct land route to Ancaragmir, and they have to go all the way up to Amrun and then south. Whereas the Ardenaim, who start with Ardamir, Ancaragmir is just the next stop, so it makes more sense for them. Khan doing very, very well, all the way up in Haldonur and down to Sayak, and Harad entirely surrounded. But otherwise, far too early to really know what's going on at the moment. And Moria obviously still have some bits up here. I think I purposefully tried to ignore them. But for now, that's going to conclude. I do hope you've enjoyed today's episode, and hopefully the intro little message was enjoyable. And until we speak again, dear friends, Navarre den Perimad Melonin, and farewell.